You know, I really like tea.
I hate to admit it, but I've made some dang good commentary videos. Let me give you a timeline. 5 months ago, I had just finished riding the wave of success from the Team Fortress 2 virus boom that the channel received, where I got hundreds of new subscribers and people who watched my content actively. But views were dropping. I'd moved away from Team Fortress 2 to focus on stuff like Agents of Mayhem and Doom. And I was kind of getting bored of the same old, tired of the format, tired of not getting as many views as usual, just tired. So what did I do? I decided to add a new element to the channel, commentary videos. I'd make videos about stuff I knew people would want to watch and share opinions that I thought really needed to be heard. I remember my first one, Stop Saying There's Nothing to Play. This is a message I'd had inside my heart for months, if not years. I want to tell people how stupid they were for saying there was nothing to play when there was plenty to play. The video did pretty decently well over time. It didn't ever break 1,000 views, but it got more than the average. I then went on to make a video about an entitled gamer getting upset that Halo 3 released early. I didn't really care about this, but it was something new and interesting. Something different, really. I didn't forget about the streams, though. Still sprinkled in some Agents of Mayhem along with everything else. I made a video on Mafia City. That didn't blow up until maybe this past month. It had gotten a couple of thousand views, but then it started climbing 10, 20. Now it's at 27,000, making it the third most viewed video on my channel. That was something I cared about. Seeing the fake ads and wanting to expose them for what they really were, that got me going, and it paid off. But even that wasn't what I really wanted to make videos about, so I dived deeper and further. I made a video talking about why I wasn't going to buy an Xbox Series X. That also did well. Over time, slowly and gradually building up to 14,000 views. I really enjoyed making that video. Seeing the hate that there was in the comments, seeing the massive dislikes, even though it was negative attention, it was attention. And I really, really craved it. I was sharing opinions, not very popular opinions, but interesting opinions. Opinions that made you think a little bit, and people were responding. I then went on to make a video that I really enjoyed. It never did well with views, barely broke 300. Used games are basically piracy. One of my favorite videos I've ever made to this date. A video where I challenged the way people look at not only what games are, but also what all forms of media are, and how the creators should be compensated for making them. I also made a video about Team Fortress 2 becoming pay to win, a collab with my buddy Wamo. Still not trying to forget about the streams, I continued to do Agents of Mayhem, finally finishing it. I did Doom, lots of Doom stuff. That was fun. Bloomed into a big series that continues even to this day. I made a guide on how to get a Whopper for 25 cents. I made an update video about Team Fortress 2. I remember making a video about Leafy moving off of YouTube and on a story fire because he got banned. That video blew up and did well. Quickly anyway, it got 7,000 views, which seemed like a lot at the time because of how quickly it got them, but was later dwarfed by why I'm not buying an Xbox Series X and also the Mafia City video, which I've mentioned before. While doing all of this, I was keeping track of views, of users' interactions with the channel, and I felt really bad about continuing the Doom content when I could be making more of this commentary content. It's getting way more views. Yeah, it's a little bit more hit or miss, but even the underperforming commentary videos still do better on average than the regular Doom videos and streams. Don't even get me started on game reviews. I could barely break 100 views on some of those. This is where my downfall began. I began to pump out commentary videos like there was no tomorrow. I did a Team Fortress 2 birthday stream, and then I pretty much just dropped streaming for a while. I also did the Henry Stickmin for a 3K sub special, but those were like once a week type deals. I dived headfirst into commentary videos, but this was where I made my crucial mistake. Instead of making videos talking about what I actually wanted to talk about, I looked around and saw what other commentary YouTubers were talking about, and then I mimicked them. I started subscribing to different news sources, looking intensely for gaming news or anything interesting about internet culture, decided I was going to make videos on that. The problem was so many of the bigger channels were making the same types of videos, and I certainly couldn't compete on quality because they had so many more sources than I did. They'd been around for longer, they knew where to get their information quicker, they had better quality equipment to make videos with, they could analyze the subject more thoroughly in the same amount of time it would take me to analyze it lightly. So I realized there was only one way I could compete. Speed. I lived for getting the information out as quickly as possible. I'd be eating dinner at my parents' house, looking at the news, and all of a sudden I would stand up and say, I have to leave, something just broke in the news, I have to make a video before anybody else. One time on the way to work, a headline popped up on my phone informing me that Microsoft had just purchased Bethesda. I immediately turned the car around to go home and make a video about it. Sometimes I'd do well and get plenty of views. Sometimes I'd miss the mark by quite a bit. If news was slow that day, I would look for interesting or weird stories to cover, or maybe some weird channel to make fun of. I made videos talking about YouTube being under attack by the Australian government. I made videos about Walmart buying TikTok, even though that had nothing to do with gaming. Made a video about a weird mask they were developing for coronavirus. I covered Apple suing Fortnite and the other way around and all this crap because I lost sight of what I really wanted to do. I wanted to make interesting videos and give people new perspective and hope that that would garner me new views. But what ended up happening is I became a sellout for the meager increase in views I had already started receiving. I didn't care about Apple suing Fortnite or Walmart buying TikTok or Keemstar threatening to sue H3H3. It was just drama and internet crap that I didn't care anything about. But I still reported on it. I still made videos about it. Why? Because I thought that's what other people cared about. I thought that was what other people wanted to see. I mean, look at all these other commentary channels. They're talking about it. People are watching them. All I need to do is make the same sorts of videos and people will watch me. But that didn't happen. And why should it have? People aren't stupid. They could see through the whole lies. They could see I didn't care about any of the stuff I was saying. It was obvious. The videos were rushed out at the rate of like 2 a day, which a lot of the bigger channels do, but I didn't have the same manpower, and the quality was certainly obvious, or lack thereof, I should say. And since I didn't really care about any of this stuff, I had no new views or points of interest to shed on any of these topics. I was just repeating the same thing everybody else thought, essentially. Think about it. How could I come up with something original when it's a topic I don't really care about? I might as well have been talking about a new cheese they've developed over in Sweden or the Kardashians buying a new dress, because at the end of the day, it was all trivial crap that I didn't really care about. Every day it got worse and worse because some videos would do really, really well and some would just not do anything. I remember covering a story about being able to run Doom on a pregnancy test and it shot up to over 10,000 views in a day. And then the very next day I made a video talking about Microsoft coming out with a new Xbox. It was the Xbox Series S. It was when it was revealed at the time and it barely has broken even 100 views to this day. And I'm sitting there thinking, why? It's all news. I can't see a pattern. And I couldn't. I certainly tried. I could maybe get 200 views on one video and 2,000 on the next. If there was a pattern, I wasn't seeing it. So I just gave into the whole hit or miss system. I'm like, pump out enough stuff, eventually something will blow up and get you views, get you new subscribers, and stuff like that. And by doing this, I then lost my identity as a YouTuber. And that was very obvious by audience retention rate. The people who had viewed this video, they wouldn't stick around for any longer. My channel was nothing different or new or exciting to them. I was just another talking voice on the internet, giving them the information they need so they could move on with their day and never have to listen to my sick sellout voice again. I was nothing more than a fast food meal. Not great, but good enough to get by on. I lost the whole purpose on doing commentary. Talking about things other people weren't talking about, bringing fresh perspective, coming at things in an interesting angle about stuff people wanted to hear. Not talking about TEDx using the term Wamexin, or somebody on Twitter complaining because people ask how they're doing on their Twitch streams. You could hear that from any YouTuber, and some that are much more interesting or bigger than me. Instead of standing out and attracting more people, I just became another voice. The channel was growing, but at what costs? People wanted more streams. Or at least something different and unique, not the same stuff they could be getting from everywhere. So, I stopped. It was a gradual process, but I went back to the old ways of live streaming and doing walkthroughs and doing interesting stuff like that. Not focusing on bringing people news they could hear anywhere. Yeah, that meant less views, but who cared? Views weren't making me happy. That was obvious just on the way I ran the channel. I was wearing myself out for something I realized I didn't even want. I didn't want views or fame or tons of money. I just wanted to make interesting stuff that I enjoyed making. And as you guys have shown from polling results and from just your way you watch stuff and for how long, you guys wanted that too. You wanted me to make stuff I wanted to make. And you could see through the thinly veiled attempts at fame and earning extra views. Sellout Kess is no fun. Not for me, not for you. Now, does that mean I'll never make another commentary video? Not necessarily. After all, what is this if not a commentary video? Think about that for a second. Think about how much of a paradox it is to commentate on a commentary video format. But before the comments section becomes awash with people arguing about the laws of physics, let me leave you with this. If I ever do make commentary videos, it's gonna be about stuff I wanna talk about, stuff I'm passionate about, not just some trivial crap that journalists are pumping out simply to get views. Because I don't wanna make that kind of content. I don't wanna be a view sellout. I wanna make stuff that's interesting. Interesting for me to make, interesting for you to watch. Stuff that has real value. Is not just some other stupid video that nobody's gonna remember in 6 months anyway. If I can't remember it down the road, why should you? Anyway, I'm gonna go play some Doom. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you at the top.